In the dim twilight of the first age, the architect labored at a celestial anvil. He sought to forge a stately queen, a silent, golden constant designed to anchor the firmament in eternal stillness. He looked into his glass, but his vision was tethered to the local soil, and he could see no further than the pale face of Luna. Though his equations whispered of dark, collapsed kingdoms where such a queen would rule with absolute precision, those realms remained unproven shadows. Seeing his queen as a ruler without a subject, a tool for a dead and motionless void that did not match the living sky, the architect grew embittered. He pronounced her a great blunder and cast her into the dust, turning his back on the masterpiece he had birthed too soon. The abandoned queen was found by the collectors of stone. They did not understand her lineage. They only saw a heavy relic of a failed era. They dragged her into the iron cage, surrounding her with the rhythmic clatter of brass gears and the cold weight of leaden scales. She was treated as a curiosity of incorrect history, measured by those who believed the universe was merely a cold machine of clockwork and steam. Devoid of her spirit, she withered into a stone husk, eventually locked away in a wooden crate in the deepest cellar of the great observatory, forgotten by all but the ravens. Eons passed, and the acolytes of a new desperate age broke the seal of the cellar. They had looked deeper into the abyss than the architect ever could, and they were terrified. They found a universe that refused to stay still, a reality that was not only fleeing, but screaming outward with a frantic, accelerating speed. In their panic to explain this defiance of gravity, they dragged the Stone Queen back into the light. But they did not seek her wisdom, they only sought her utility. They performed an unholy resurrection, imbuing the stone husk with a mysterious power, a repulsive, violent energy to push stars away. They renamed her, masking her face with a jagged, dark moniker, and forced her to drive the Great Expansion. Under the Acolytes' rule, the Queen became a monster. Because they viewed the cosmos as a vast, dead corpse, their repulsive math grew monstrously distorted. They calculated her power using the logic of the vacuum, resulting in a grisly dissonance. A gap between their math and their reality so vast, it threatened to tear the record asunder. The universe they measured was 120 times more violent than the one they inhabited. They had created a zombie queen, a force of pure, mindless repulsion that ignored the very presence of the life that observed it. For decades, the scribe watched from the remote shadows of the forge, observing the acolytes struggle with a quiet impatience. The scribe realized the fatal error. The acolytes were looking through a glass darkly, seeing a push where there was actually a pulse. They had forgotten that the universe without a perceiver is a silent grave. The scribe understood that the Queen's power was not a mechanical shove, but a relational flow. By finally acknowledging X, the bioelectric soul of the observer, the scribe saw the logic reversed. The expansion was not a repulsive explosion of dead matter, but the unfolding of a living theater. The scribe returned to the forge, not to destroy the Queen, but to complete her. He added the final sigil, the X. This was the inclusion of the living impact, the missing breath that the architect had been unable to measure, and the acolytes had ignored. On the great chessboard of the cosmos, The Lambda X was finally seated. The 120-fold error collapsed into a singular, beautiful truth. The stately queen was restored to her throne, no longer a blunder, no longer a monster, but the perfect governor of a universe that is finally, undeniably, alive. The scale is level, the record is sealed, the queen reigns.